everyone. Welcome to Connections for Life. I'm Ted Pete.
Napoleon Kuva, my little shirt.
And that's Uncle Rico over our
He
third
throws
co-host.
footballs over the mountain.
No, that's Uncle Rico is our third co-host. He just grew his mustache into a beard. He called himself Joe.
He does sort of live in that little motorhome.
There it is.
How's that?
There's Uncle Rico.
Oh God, please.
It's so much better than Chad.
Yeah, my hair, my real hair is worse than the fake hair. Look at that hair. I look like all Three Stooges.
I want to know though, Joe. You just said, "Hey, after this, I got to take a shower," but your hair looks like it's wet to me, and I'm like,
No, it's just greasy and gross. I went to the gym this morning, and it's like,
"Oh yeah."
hold on, look, I
Actually,
can repair it. I can get back to halfway decent. Hold on.
I can't
See?
do that with
Not
my
too
hair.
bad.
I have like a bristle
not-
head for hair.
It's because your hair's not long enough yet.
No,
you aren't
it's
willing to let it grow long.
No, I'm not. I can't take it.
Anyway, it's enough of haircuts and crap.
How was your weekend?
I don't know.
Where are you?
I don't know. I'm in Florida.
Great answer.
I'm in Tampa right now. I'm in Tampa. I got here like yesterday at 6. I have some business things this morning, and then I'm driving over to West Palm to hopefully see. I'm hoping to be able to get together with Jim and Tammy this afternoon or this evening, and then meeting with Dan tomorrow, and then we have some meetings, and then back home. So it's beautiful here, though. Weather's great. Obviously, it's like I don't know what the temperature is, but it's warm.
So is home. As soon as you left, it became nice.
Yeah, I know. It's but it's supposed to be cold. It's supposed to get cold again. So
It's gonna snow on Wednesday, they said.
yeah, so yeah, I'll be here. So I don't come home till Thursday. But other than that, no, I didn't really do anything this weekend. Saturday, Macy had a couple soccer games. It's pretty normal again.
Where I go?
And nothing great to speak of.
Interesting.
I haven't any Chad.
I don't know.
Either
There
I'm
he
talking
is.
to
I thought
camera
you
got
guys
blurry.
were releasing me off the show slowly.
Chad looks like he
People disappear from photos.
No, you know what it was? It was like Back to the Future when you're like,
Yeah.
when the picture when you're like fading away.
Yes.
You
Chad
should do
looks
a
like
Back
he
to
has
the
one of them
Future
filters
background.
on. That like yeah, he looks like he has one of the filters hiding his facial.
I was sick on Friday for the first time, like really
right.
sick in a long time. I had stomach bugs, something of the sort, and it was awful. But then the rest of the weekend we worked on the house pretty much, and we went out to dinner. Lindsay and I went to dinner on Saturday night to a really nice restaurant that we probably never go to, but we had a $100 gift card. It was still like $150, which for us,
What, Outback?
yeah. No, Mitchell's Ocean Club actually. It was really nice. So we had a great time.
You went to Mitchell's Ocean Club in Columbus, Ohio?
That's the original one, and it's
Is this prior to you getting food poisoning or after?
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, it's really good. It's the best seafood.
Would you get the shrimp scampi? You know my rule,
No.
Kubo.
It doesn't matter. I don't care what your rule.
My rule is I
That's
don't
not
eat
mine.
seafood unless I'm within 200 miles of an ocean. You are not.
I'm trying to think of times where you've gone outside that rule.
I have not.
You don't eat
Find
seafood
one.
a lot though.
No, that's why.
Teddy, what'd you do?
I was down in your area, man. I was in Cleveland,
sort of.
kind of, yeah.
Same
But
state.
I now have a new disdain for Columbus, Ohio after losing the so I
Cleveland, you
played my basketball team, my basketball program. We took 2 teams down to the Drew Joyce Classic. For those who don't know, Drew Joyce was LeBron James's high school basketball coach and a big mentor in his life. And he was a father figure to him from the time he was in, like 8, 9 years old.
So he's
And,
making money off because he had an awesome player in high school.
Now, good for him.
But
I do the same thing. I wish I knew LeBron James growing up. I would have LeBron James everything.
So we went to this event. It was a huge event in Cleveland. And we showed really well. We took 2 teams down, my 17U and my 16U. Our 17U, we had a tough break, man. Chad, I'm sure this happens in hockey. Maybe this happens in soccer, Joe. But we had 4 divisions, and then we had a 4-way tie in our division for first place. So they found a common opponent and used a common opponent point differential tiebreaker.
Like from a past team you played?
No,
Or in
so
the
like
tournament.
in the tournament.
Oh yeah, that's normal. We got eliminated from something like that earlier last year.
I take it Ted did too. That's what this is
So
going.
we had a 4-way
Sucks.
tie for first place, and they did the point differential, and we ended up having a tie for third and fourth with the point differential, and it did like an auto-generated coin flip, and we lost. So what's worse though is like they take the top 3 and they put the top seed in the gold bracket, the silver, bronze. Well, we beat 2 of the 3 of them, and both of them won the championships of the gold and silver. And we were like, this is crazy. And we had a consolation game at 8 a.m. on Sunday instead.
You know what the answer was? You should have scored more points in that game.
That's what I'm saying. Like you never take the throttle off, and that's why when
we didn't.
When people are like, "Oh, you got to be fair," like no,
we didn't.
I'm going to bury you.
No. To be honest,
girls 9-year-old soccer, I will win 50-0 and not feel bad about it at all.
But there was no throttle off. Every game was decided by the biggest differential between any game of the 4 of us was 6.
Wow.
It was a competitive.
I don't know if that's well, it's the same thing in hockey. I mean, literally, you can beat somebody by 2, and you only need somebody else beat by 3, and you're done.
Our 16s went 5-0. We were the number 1 seed in the gold bracket. We beat a tough team out of Chicago in the semifinals, and they kind of talked a little crap before the game. We got our guys fired up, and our boys stomped them 77-60. And then we stayed at the DoubleTree, like right down the street from the Huntington Convention Center. We walked to it. It was like a 5-minute walk.
Downtown, essentially, right?
Yeah, downtown Cleveland.
Gosh,
and then,
I don't know if I've ever been to downtown.
Yeah, it's right next to the Brown Stadium. Like the Brown Stadium was in like out the window. And
I don't count East 55th as downtown, Joe.
No, I'm talking about when we went.
Oh, you're right. Out of the Matrix.
Yeah, we stayed downtown.
Matrix.
Or near downtown.
Story. That's a great story for storytellers.
Oh, that is a good story for storytellers.
I'm not telling that story until Dan's on again.
But then we made the championship game after that, and we just came out flat against this team from Columbus, and they jumped on us. We were down 20 at halftime, and they were good. They were really, really good, Chad. And then we got it to 5, and with 5 minutes to go, and guy calls a timeout, and I got my boys. I'm like, let's go. We get 2 stops. We win this game. Yeah, they scored on the next possession, stole the ball, scored on the next possession, and we just kind of lost our sails, and they ended up beating us. So we took second, though, in the NCAA. Cool. Yeah, it was a big, but we were so angry about it that we didn't really embrace the fact that we, were second out of like 25 teams in that age group. So,
yeah. Still lost.
Still lost.
Cool. Right? I mean, as sad as that is, but it's still
no one's going to remember that second place.
Nope.
Still a great accomplishment.
And listen, the trophy's like this big. I don't even want to like put it in the trophy case.
Dude, sometimes it's better to lose those games, honestly, early on a season. Like I just said that to Macy the other day when they were in Buffalo and they lost to the number 2 team in the state.
Yeah.
And they were all like heartbroken. And I was like, your season's just like starting. Like hopefully that'll give you some motivation. So it's actually pretty funny. Yesterday, Saturday, she had 2 games. And then afterwards, her and 2 of the girls from her team went and ran 2 miles because their coach was like, you guys aren't running enough. You're not in good enough shape. So they like took it upon themselves and were like, we're going to go run 2 miles. So that was pretty cool to see from a 10-year-old kid, because I don't even want to run to the store.
What was the last time Chad ran 2 miles?
Together? You mean at one time?
Yeah.
I mean, I probably ran 2 miles.
20 years.
Over about 9 months, I probably ran 2 miles just somewhere where I was like, oh, I better sprint a little.
No.
When did you add them all up? At the airport once in a while. Maybe when I'm trying to leave with Lindsay and I forget something, I run in the house and run back.
That's
like if you add all those up,
I might have done
2 miles in the last.
If I ran like to the corner, I'd be like, no, you didn't. I would not believe you.
I would not believe you. That's great.
If you called me up and you were even all sweaty and in like running clothes and you were like, I just ran a mile, I'd be like, no, you didn't. You're lying. Like I know you too well. There's no way. You don't like to move.
You don't like to move.
All right.
Anyway,
so
what else are we doing?
It's time for the gas bag.
Oh yeah. It's on my phone because hold on a second.
Active gas.
All right, so guys, as you know, I'm in Florida, right? I think we discovered that or discussed that. So I thought I'd do a Florida gas fact. So
I thought I'd put you up with sunglasses on so you don't hurt your eyes too.
Oh, look at that. Those are fancy.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, so a lot of people, we talk about this a lot, that a lot of people don't really fully understand that, like, when they go get an electric vehicle, or they go get they change from from natural gas appliances to electric appliances. I think the feeling is that they're doing something good for the environment, and one of the things that I always find really interesting is that the vast majority of people don't understand that typically the electricity in their state comes from burning a fossil fuel. For the most part nowadays, it's become, like, coal's kind of taken a back burner, but it's now become natural gas. So the question today is, more than blank percentage of Florida's electricity is generated with natural gas. Would you guys like multiple choice, or you want to take a stab at it?
I'm gonna
Definitely multiple choice.
See, he wants multiple choice. I'm gonna take a stab. I'm going with.
All right, you take your stab.
I'm going with 83.
83. Okay, Teddy. The numbers are 75, 60, 45, or 90.
90.
The answer's actually 75.
That was
So-
my second choice.
What?
That was my second
That
choice.
was your second
choice. Is the answer.
Now I know how well you did in school. I
Can I
got
get a
a
redo?
C, but I would have got a B if I went with all my second choices. Um, so anyway, 75%. But I think about that. Like, I mean, the reality is that, like, I mean, 75% of the electricity that's generated in this state comes from natural gas, and many states in the United States are like that.
The other. Do you have any other thing behind that, Joe? How much is nuclear? Because I'll bet you a huge part of the other portion is nuclear, and it's not solar or wind.
I can probably figure that out.
I just wonder.
Google
Random.
search.
Interesting.
Well,
Just you guys talk amongst yourselves
Well-
until I figure it out.
Well, I'll tell you, I saw this video the other day, and this gentleman was talking. He was like, "Now, I think I'm a little crazy." He said, "But an alternator generates an electrical charge to charge the battery of a car." And he says, "So why can't a Tesla have 4 alternators on the wheels, and then all of the surfaces on the top of it? Why can't they be solar paneled? And then it would charge itself, and you wouldn't need it." And he was like, "The answer is because they need to make money off the charging stations and all this stuff." And I said, "I don't know how feasible that is, because I'm not that smart on any of those subjects, but I think that sounds logical to me and my infant brain." And so I don't know. That was a cool subject.
So, sorry, thanks for bridging the gap.
I got you.
So the top, this comes from the state of Florida Department of Energy, so I can't think of a more reliable source. So this is a little different, but so coal-fired is 1%. No.
I can't imagine coal's much. You don't get much coal in Florida? Like,
Hold on, this doesn't make freaking any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. So back to
None.
my solar panels on Teslas.
So,
and
well, think about this though. Think about this. Like, you have to imagine in Florida, there's probably a lot of solar, right? Like, you would have, like, just because it's sunny all the time.
I guess,
that
but
would
you
make the
still
most
also
sense.
need the space of solar panels.
Yeah, you need the land mass.
Unless you're hanging them in the sky with your sky. hooks.
Okay, so electric power plants in Florida, there's 135 of them. There's 15 coal-fired plants, 27 petroleum-fired, 73 natural gas-fired, 3 nuclear, 2 hydro, and then 15 other renewable plants. But it doesn't give you percentages.
Petroleum, huh? You don't hear much about those running on oil. Earl.
Running on Earl. Hey, here's an interesting one. What's the number one cause of electric utility outages reported from 2008 to 2000, for some reason, 13? I don't know why that's the date.
Lightning
but
strikes.
I was literally going to say natural disaster.
It's actually over demand.
Oh, that makes
Shut the
sense.
grid
too.
down, huh?
All right.
Yeah,
What are we?
that's crazy.
What do you are? What? Where? What? Who? Huh? Okay.
Hey, look, somebody's knocking on my hotel room door. You guys keep talking. I gotta go send a maid away.
Well, we're just gonna bring in.
You
Housekeeping.
guys are gonna hear it. Hold on.
Housekeeping.
I'm still in here.
Housekeeping.
No problem. Sorry. You guys can hear me too, which is funny.
I'm still in here.
Well, I don't know what
This
to
is
say.
going to be a disaster of an intro.
Why? This is great. This is real life.
Do you
I
want me
should
to
have
do
brought
the
the
intro
camera
this week,
with
Ted,
me.
or are you doing
Hey.
the intro?
No, you got it. You've got it.
So this week we bring on Robin Seils, or Rocky, as Dan likes to call him. He is pretty much the founder. I don't want to call him the grandfather because I feel like I'm aging him, even though he is older than me. He's pretty much the founder of Rock Shield and putting Tough Enough Rock Shield into the market. He's moved on about 10 to 12 years ago to PipeSak. But just a really cool story, really cool background of how Tough Enough got started in the market, how, everything it went through, and then some of the cool stuff they're doing now.
So without further ado, welcome to the show, Rocky. Hello, Robin, and welcome to Connections for Life. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning. Doing great. It's a great day here in St. Louis, Missouri.
How are you, Robin?
Weather.
He's good.
I could say the same in upstate New York.
What's it look like there today, Joe? Gloomy and doomy?
Gray.
Yeah,
Gray.
gray and
It's
rainy.
normal.
We
It's
have
nice
two
here
seasons.
today.
We have two seasons. We have summer and gray.
It's nice here today, but it's still cold. It's like a high of 52 or something.
That's how it is here. It's been raining. So
How's the weather in St. Louis, Robin?
Yeah, well,
'Cause
I was gonna say,
that's
just-
going to come to me in about
Just call me. I was going to say, because your weather is my weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
80 and
Your weather
sunny.
tomorrow is my weather today. So
Amazing.
yeah, it's great. It's beautiful. It's spring
But
day.
you're the only one in a golf shirt, so I assume it's probably warmer there than it is anywhere.
Warm enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
so,
awesome.
so Robin, let's just jump right into it. First of all, thanks for being on the show. We'll start you again where we start every other person we've ever asked on the show. How did you get into the pipeline industry? How did you get into for us the natural gas industry?
Yeah, well, it was kind of
An accident?
I had no idea I was going to get into the pipeline industry.
I don't think any of us did, really.
Yeah, I know. You just settle in there. But I worked at 1986. I went to work for a company called Green Streak here in St. Louis, little plastics extrusion company, and I actually was in the factory running a machine for a couple of years, and then kind of worked my way up into being a night shift supervisor, and then a day shift supervisor, and then into the production manager over the plant. So did that for a while, and at some point the ownership came to me and said, "Hey, we've got this little side business that we make this product for the pipeline industry called Rock Shield. It's Tough Enough Rock Shield, and can you run this little division for us?" And I said, what the heck, get out of the factory, you bet. Give that a shot. So I'm not a sales guy. I always tell people but I play one.
On TV, only on TV.
Yeah.
Robin, what did you guys make? Like, what did you do before? Like, what did
I
Green
was just
Streak
gonna
make
ask that.
before? Obviously,
What
we
other
only know
products
Rock Shield.
The
Yeah.
Green Streak make? Oh, they make what's called water stops that gets embedded into concrete
Okay.
to seal against concrete foundations leaking and stuff. It's almost as boring as pipelining, but
Joe has
it's
a
a visible
background.
product.
I think he asked because Joe has a background in plastics before he got into this
I get
industry. His background.
There's a lot of extrusion of PVC type plastics and
Okay.
so forth. So
Rigid,
anyway-
rigid and flexible, or just rigid? Or
No,
just
it's
flexible?
all flexible. It's all flexible PVC.
Cool. Interesting. All right.
But,
I have about a million more questions about plastic, but would be boring as hell, so we're not going to bring those up.
All
but-
right, that'll be the.
I'll let you go on with what
That'll
you're
be
talking
episode 2 with you.
about. Yeah.
So anyway, I had a secretary and myself, and so not being just a factory geek, manufacturing geek, I didn't know anything about rock shields or pipelining. So I thought, let's just get all the rock shield products that claim that they're a rock shield in one place. I got samples of all.
I was
of them.
literally just going to ask you who at that time were competitors of
there-
you guys. I mean, what
there
year
are
is this
a
now?
few.
Fast.
This
you're
is 1998.
Okay. So who else is in the market? Because I don't even, I got in this industry in like,
Well,
2001.
Grid Guard, Stewart Steel, and
the black thin plastic diamond.
yeah, that was 99% of what
Got
you were
it.
up against. But there were a couple other, like a white foam with holes poked. in
Yeah,
it
that
and
was
stuff.
like
I've seen that.
tape coats. Tape coat had a product.
Tape.
Like that.
Yeah, they had one. So So anyway, I took each of those, and then I thought, well, let's test them. Let's lay them out. So I took an ASTM test and kind of extrapolated that and expanded it. Where this ASTM G13 test is dropping rocks from 6 feet onto a surface to test the toughness of the surface of a coating. But so it just extrapolated that out to where we had the coating and then put a piece of rock shield on it, then just got bigger rocks and would cycle 10 cycles and get bigger rocks as we went.
I did not realize, Robin, that you're the creator of the asterisks behind the test on the piece of paper.
Yeah.
You really are. You're the guy that created the asterisks of the modified G13 test.
It's a G13 modified, right?
Yeah.
And so
Robin behind it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. You did this in your backyard, right? This wasn't like.
Well, actually, I did it at the factory. I got video from 1998, but I actually did have. When I first started, I thought, well, how big a rock will this tough enough take? And so I had this big honking rock like this, and I dropped it on it from like waist high, and it went right through it, of course. So I thought, well, I put it in my garden. I thought, well, that was a failure. So let's go try this ASTM test. Is kind of where we went after that. So, but then so we learned where each of these rock shields failed. At certain drops of 3-inch rocks or 4-inch rocks. But then the Tough Enough survived, a couple of drops, 2 or 3 drops of the 6-inch rocks, and which was clearly better than everything else. Then, so my marketing plan was just to get engineers in a room. And I actually literally brought in the steel plates and the pieces of rock shield and said, here's what you get for this, here's what you get for this, and here's what you get for this.
And that's where you got your nickname as well.
I think so. Yeah.
They
just started calling me that. Yeah.
Do you know what his nickname is?
Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think you were boxing, so I'm gonna go.
Wait, were you Rocky before that at any point?
No, it's right about that.
Okay, then that's where it came from.
So
Yeah.
We've solved the mystery.
But see, I would walk into a meeting and say, "Hi, I'm the Tough Enough guy," and it's like, "Oh, are you now? How tough are you?"
I'm the rock guy.
I just want to, before we jump into the next one, which is kind of how you got the PipeSak, I just want to know, I think I know you spent a lot of time with Dan back in those days. How was that running around the countryside with him, trying to push Tough Enough essentially?
Oh, well, Dan is a deep thinker. I mean, we had many in-depth conversations about the universe and everything else.
We've all spent time in a car with him. We know.
Oh yeah.
No, he's a character. He's a great guy. He's fun to be with.
Oh yeah.
And I admire the guy because of he was like me. He wasn't much out of the sales gig as I was, and he took over the company soon before I started with you guys, and he just really had a good vision, and I like that he's interested in the latest technology, and that's why I think he embraced the Tough Enough at that time, because that was the latest and greatest technology that was available, and he was all in to promote that.
It was a great product, and I think it was from an evolution of the pipeline industry game. It was a game changer, right? Like there was nothing else that was ever like it before. There's been a lot of come and gone since, right? There's been a lot of people that said, hey, this is a good opportunity, we should make something similar. I know Chad made his living on selling the
I did for a little while.
Chad was the generic rock. I'll
never forget
name for you, buddy.
Listen, I'll never forget. Call me thin on the sides.
We'll never call you thin, I promise.
I know, that's why I went for it. Shoot your shot. I'll never forget probably like 2001, 2002, working in Liberty Coating, and you guys coming in with a few rolls of Tough Enough and trying to figure out how maybe we could put it on before pipe was actually taken out to the field, things like that. It never really worked out. But I remember like 5 years later, Don Barter making me dig out the one roll that was left on this shelf. I was just a laborer, like a foreman, and I dug it out and I was like, what do you want me to do with it? He's like, not sure. I think we're going to use it for matting. The other use for Tough Enough.
I had you guys know, in my pickup truck, I use it as a truck bed. Like,
Yeah.
Truck bed, yeah,
Yeah.
truck bed liner.
yeah, it was awesome.
It works
That stuff-
amazing.
I always told them to order about 10% extra than what they needed because
It
it's
was
always going to
stolen.
disappear. You know,
It's
and
wherever
truck
there's a
beds.
pipeline going on, you drive past an RV resort.
Right.
It's
It's on
pretty much
everybody's
looks like their
porch,
grass.
their deck. Yeah.
And it's also
Oh.
good at trade shows to lay in front of your table for something to stand on for
As
8
opposed to the
hours.
concrete
100%.
floor.
Yeah.
I always did that.
So go ahead, Chad.
So you left what, 12 years ago?
Yeah,
Around?
about 12 years ago. Right.
And
But
you
just to wrap up the
Go
Tough
ahead.
Enough story, though,
Yeah,
just one of the things that I carried over into PipeSak was the other rock shields. I would explain to people, say, you know, your contractor's paying like 35 cents a square foot for this.
Yeah.
Now, Tough Enough's like at the time $1.20 a square foot.
right.
And so why should I spend, 4 times as much for this?
The work.
And this is why. It's because it works, right? And that's what really,
Incredible.
we went into it saying we are not the cheapest, and kind of took that over to PipeSak too, because
That's awesome.
I'm not afraid of going in front of somebody and saying, I'm not going to be your low cost, lowest price thing, but I am going to be the best.
Robin,
And this is why it's better.
I actually have a question for you that goes kind of back to the story, back at the beginning of the story. Where did the concept for this come from? Like,
Same
from an
thought.
extrusion standpoint, that's not a standard extruder. That's not a standard process. Like, who's the brainchild of saying, hey, we can make this matting? And was it originally
Use it for that.
Was it
Right.
originally for pipeline coating, or was
Well,
it
there
for
was
something else?
one of the engineers at Green Street did design the die, and he was experimenting it with like a roof walkway mat.
It's
Okay.
used in golf
Yeah.
courses a lot too. You see it in golf
But
courses.
yeah, and that's another side business that evolved from it as well for using that die. So that's the idea. The fact that you always want to keep something running. So
They didn't originally set out to make pipe rock shield. That wasn't their original.
well, like I say, that product didn't have any synergy with anything else they made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's pretty cool. I was just curious
Right.
because it's not something that
It really almost still doesn't, even as big as a company that they've been bought out by and everything. It's still
Yeah,
kind
so
of the
like-
only product they have that is in the market. really.
Right. So 6 months after I left there, a big company, Sika, came in and bought them, and they've unlimited dollars now.
So you left 12 years ago, and now you've been with PipeSak for how long?
Yeah. So yeah, when I was, I had met Jeff Connors, the owner of PipeSak, 10 years before I came to work for him.
Gotcha.
I met him at trade shows, or we would have I would have a presentation, a Tough Enough presentation for a company, and he would be in there doing one also on his PipeSaks, and he and I would talk about good distributors and and so forth, and how he could market his PipeSak better. But so I knew him for quite a long time, and got the impression he's just a genius. He's just one of these, like a Einstein guy. So no, he's a guy who creates.
Just because you work for him now doesn't mean you have to say that on here.
I know, but see, after
You have to pump his tires too hard.
after working with Tough Enough for so long, and it's been adopted in so many specifications, then it's just maintaining that business, right?
Yep.
But when Jeff offered me a position, I was going to a company, a family company again, that created new products, and not just one.
Right.
But he had, you take this to market because I've got ideas of another product I'm going to make, and another one, and another
Right.
one. And so,
Well, it keeps it fun and fresh too, right?
right. Anybody I think can go in and just sell something that everyone else makes and just say I'm the lowest price. But to go out, I think it's interesting to go out and stand in front of a room of engineers and say, here's something brand new that solves these problems that you've never used before.
A lot of fun.
And this is
It's
going
fun.
to make your life easier.
It's also rewarding in the sense that you're actually helping the industry be better, right? Like, it's not
Oh.
just about selling
it's a
product
slow,
A to
slow
to
process.
customer
Yeah,
B.
it's like turning the Queen Mary or aircraft carrier. It is a
It's-
slow process.
That's everything in our industry, pretty much.
Right.
Maybe we just are all really bad salespeople.
Maybe that's it.
Oh, good philosophy, Joe. That might be very true.
I mean, we all are like, it takes forever. Maybe we just think at our job.
It does
I don't
take
know.
a while, but I mean, you just have to stay at it and just be able to prove your point. It's exactly just the way it goes.
So speaking of that, like I know that PipeSak has been really pretty I guess was creative on new products and things that they are bringing to market. Do you have anything now that's new and exciting that you want to talk about and bring up to
Oh my gosh,
people that watch our show?
buckle up.
And here we go.
Well, yeah, Jeff, like I said, he created the saddlebag weight because the industry needed it, because concrete set on weights were damaging coatings and so forth. And he's a pipeline engineer for Union Gas, and so that's where that creation came from. So we take that to market. In the meantime, Jeff has come out, with something called a pipe pillow, a pipe support that's gonna, give a pipe 90 degrees of support and a smooth surface to rest on.
It won't damage the coating.
Yeah, I think that
it's not
has
gonna
one. I think
damage the coating, because that was the other thing.
I sample that I keep with me and I keep stored when I get home of the PipeSak product line.
There you go.
Here's your
You
little
just pull that
one.
out of the box.
Right, because sandbags and padding machines and so forth like that, I mean, they've been using them for years, but pad dirt will tend to migrate away, and the pipe will rest on the rocky trench bottom. So this is something that's never going to biodegrade or go away. And of course, we have
the environmentalists come after you for that one.
Right. But then when you explain to them, you really don't want this to go away, because the pipe will explode later.
There's bigger
they
problems.
get on board.
Yeah. You also have one with wheels, don't you?
I was just gonna say that one of our guys, Christian.
Yeah,
the best thing.
One of my inside sales guys was talking to a guy who does electrofusion of plastic pipe.
Yep.
And he needed something to keep that pipe off the ground. So he drilled holes here and put an axle through and a couple of wheels on the side, so you could strap the pipe to that as it comes out of that electrofusion machine, and it just rolls along. And so I'm going to send a couple of those to your office too. For you guys
Christian,
to look at.
you probably
I would like them.
I know you've talked to Christian probably more than you'd like to admit, but he's super excited about these. Like he talks about them all
every
the time.
week.
Like every week, it's like you gotta get them. You gotta get
It's
them.
like they just put wheels on it. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's like the first time a caveman figured out the wheel work. Like, that's how it is with him. So
I talked to him yesterday, and he is fired up. You're right.
Oh yeah, he's all fired up. Yeah. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
He's a great guy to have. But then we obviously came out with a rock shield, since there's no patents on Tough Enough anymore, and there's a need in the industry. So we came out with our own version of this type of extruded PVC rock shield. It does the same thing. I mean, it looks, tastes, smells just like the other.
Does it really taste the same?
Well,
Eat it right now.
It's yellow. That one's green. I don't know.
Well,
I feel like that one tastes like lime, and the other one tastes like lemon.
Lemon lime.
Going on my roof, actually. We're doing that rooftop project on my above my garage, and this is what's going down as the base before I put
I've got it in my garage, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But it's it's an easy transition if somebody wanted to go from one to another. I mean, it's an easy or equal, which a lot of specifications are written that way. But that really kind of opens the door for really the next generation of rock shields that's out there. This is something that's half the weight of like a Tough Enough or a pipe jacket, and it but it has a universe more toughness and strength than those extruded PVCs.
What is it made of?
It's polypropylene and polyethylene fibers that are needle punched together. They allow water to pass through, and also allow water to pass away.
So you don't have to worry about shielding at all.
It blocks.
Robin, I'm going to measure my garage tonight, and then I need a sample of that.
Can you please stop? That's not
a couple of rolls.
Do not send him anything. I'm
that-
learning about the product. He doesn't even know what it's used for. My God.
So,
calm down.
so that's essentially, and correct me if I'm wrong, a diaper.
Oh, you know, it kind of looks like that. I
No, but it
guess.
is
But
without
it
the
allows
barrier in it.
but it doesn't have an impervious barrier. No,
That's the only difference, right? That's because diapers are copolymer propylene. They're propylene in high density, woven together. They're fiber. That's basically what it is.
Well, okay, I'll take your word about.
You should call it the
diapers. I
pipe
mean,
diaper.
I am getting older, but I'm not in the diapers
You
yet.
should call it the pipe diaper. The pipe diaper. Come on.
The pipe does.
What's also cool about this is you install it with like a hook and loop, like a Velcro
Yeah.
type
Oh, cool.
of fastener.
Instead of tape.
So you
Instead of
just
tape.
stick it and you cannot pull it apart.
Wow.
The other
So the speed and the safety that you can install this at is phenomenal.
Chad, do you think a
And
lot
if
of
that-
people
that
were
the
gonna?
tape will allow the moisture to go through as well.
yeah, it's just a piece
the,
of
the
Velcro.
water goes through, carries the CP, and then it also allows
That's what I
water
was
to
gonna
drain
ask.
away at the
Yeah.
same rate as like a sandy soil.
Is that come
Or a
out? yet?
diaper.
I mean, is that like brand new? Has it come out yet? Are you utilizing it? Is it?
Yeah, we
available?
just introduced this. We actually created this for TransCanada for a couple of giant projects they're doing in Canada right now, the Coastal Gas Link, and then there's a Trans Mountain project that's going on up there. They bought 70 truckloads of this stuff already, and
Amazing.
TransCanada, I don't know if you know about those guys. They do a ton
Yeah.
of testing,
Yeah, they do.
so nothing gets by them. And,
Is it something
and-
that was going to be available to the common
Yeah,
man?
absolutely. Here's a cool thing too about PipeSak in general. All these products that we make them in North America. They're not sitting on a ship offshore somewhere.
Nice.
So we make this in Canada and in the States, and we make this in Canada. We make we make this in the States.
So
So-
Robin, how is the price point versus traditional rock shield versus the new stuff? Is it compatible? I mean, is it comparable? Is it?
Yeah, these are going to be a relatively similar in price. This is actually going to be a few pennies cheaper,
Okay.
but the speed and
Yeah.
the safety that
The
this
installed cost, Joe, like you can
It's
get,
gonna
be
the roll weighs like a third of.
No, I get it. I completely
Crazy.
understand the installation cost.
The
is
Yeah.
one
significant.
other last thing though that I wanted in the show, and I see as this little cigar torch there, is the other way that you actually can connect the
It melts.
together.
I love to do demos, when
You're
I'm
gonna
in
get
an
a new
office somewhere.
nickname,
what
Pyro.
Fuego.
No,
But yeah,
Pyro. No.
I would take this in an office and I would just heat it like that, and then stick the other one to it. Whoops. And then just say, you
Yeah.
can't pull that apart.
Wow.
And no other rock shield does that.
Fusing the pipe type.
Yep.
I like it.
No, I
So-
think you're really going somewhere with that. Honestly, I'm not.
I'm
Yeah,
just
that's pretty
saying,
cool.
it's the latest technology. It's lightweight. Well, here's the other thing. The other rock shields, the extruded rock shields, you can make a 6-foot wide roll. This stuff, we can make a roll wide enough that could fit all the way around to 48-inch pipe.
Right.
So
Is
it's
it
unlimited.
sold in rolls or mats or both?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. We'll make custom size rolls, custom size pads to fit whatever diameter you've got.
That's wicked, man. I think there's some legs there for that one. I think the industry's been needing something different instead of these,
Me too.
twos, right?
Well, that's the attraction of this company, is that I'm excited to come to work every day to be able to promote something brand new to show to people. And with my background, if I call up Enbridge or Exxon or TransCanada, they kind of know me and they give me some time. They say, well,
You
he's
wanna
going to
call
bring
our
something
customer?
in weird, and we'll
Can you
take a
call all
look
of
at
our
it.
customers? Can you concentrate in the Northeast for now?
Oh man, I think the last thing we want to talk about is maybe where you see the future. I mean, you guys kind of have the ability a little bit. It seems like you're looking into the future, more than some companies in this industry. Where do you see it taking us?
Yeah, it's marketing almost. We see a lot of carbon capture starting and hydrogen mixed in with natural gas is to try to reduce
Urban
the amount of
emissions.
natural gas being used and so forth. But
You'll need pipeline.
you know what? A lot of these people, they don't even know why they're protesting. They just don't want a hole dug in their backyard with a pipeline.
Yeah.
They don't really care what's in the pipeline, whether it's going to help their situation or not. But we just have to change our message that, these pipelines are heating your homes and they're allowing to bring gasoline to your car and so forth. So some of the pipeline, some of the areas of the country are complaining that they don't have enough oil or gas, so the price is really high. But it's because the protesters have shut down any new
The way for it
pipelines
to
going
get
to
there,
their
right?
area. Right.
No one cares about, everyone cares about an issue until it impacts them.
Right.
No one cares about issues if it doesn't impact them. They will say they will have a stance, but the day that somebody's against fossil fuel and they can't go somewhere to visit their family or get to work
Because
or
they can't
keep
get
their home,
gas.
or they can't feed their family or cook food, then it becomes a problem. And I think that's where we get lost in the messaging. I agree with you, man. I think that they have a better marketing department.
They're just a squeaky wheel. I'm sure they're in a minority. If you walk out
100%.
and ask 10 people, 8 of them are going to say, yeah, we need the pipeline.
There's 4 million people in just the United States alone that work in the oil and gas industry, in the energy industry. That's 4 million people. But collectively, we don't have a large enough voice because the marketing isn't there for fossil fuels because it's not the cool hip thing.
They're all grouped together too.
Yeah.
Well, maybe these high gas prices will be the lemonade that we can make, I guess.
Some of my problem with it, Robin, is that the fact that natural gas kind of get lumped in with coal, and I don't think that's really fair. Part of that, they all do, and they're all different products, and they're all different ways of gathering energy, not just making energy, not just fossil fuel. You know what I mean? It's just.
I just think it's funny that the people that want you to buy an electric vehicle have no comprehension that everything in that electric vehicle is made from petroleum products.
I'll say
when they shut down construction of a natural gas pipeline that is designed to go and convert a coal-fired power plant,
right?
And they shut
You're
that
gaining
down
50% efficiency by doing that.
I will say this though. I saw for the first time in 4 years, I can easily say this, for the first time, I actually saw an article today written about one of the negative effects of the green initiative, right? And it was the DEC was going after the largest windmill manufacturer in the world. They have, X amount of windmills in X amount of states across the United States, because to their estimates, windmills had killed over 150 eagles.
Right.
And they had to pay like $850 million. And then it was going to be $67,000 any eagle killed after that. And then further in the article, it talked about how the land where the eagles are being pushed towards the windmills areas because we've covered their land in solar panels. And it was for the first time I ever saw this article, and I was like, and I'm very simplistically surmising this. But it was for the first time, I'm like, man, they're attacking fossil fuels. They're attacking green energy. Everything is just under attack just to be under attack, not looking at the positives of it. So,
you're right. That's not been a secret as far as birds. Eagles specifically, I hadn't heard, but they estimate like 250 to 350,000 birds a year die from windmills. I'm not the one that's like, oh, birds, I'm like a bird hugger or whatever you want to call them.
Bird hugger? I don't think
it's like a tree hugger, like a bird.
Yeah,
hugger.
I got it. I knew what you meant. I just don't think that's the.
I don't know. I just think policies. We send subsidies. We subsidize an industry in the green energy sector, right? Instead of, I think what we should be doing is subsidizing the coal industry so we can start transitioning off of coal and oil into natural gas, because it is a cleaner, more efficient product. And then we can move beyond that.
Then we can,
because if you're going to subsidize this industry, you're not just going to get this one to die. You have to replace those people's jobs. You have to move those. You just have to do that. If you shut down coal, West Virginia would cease to exist.
Right.
And I don't say that, no kidding aside, but those people have lives and you can't just like overlook that. And I don't know, man, it's going to be an interesting couple of years. But again, I think our biggest problem is that if we get another, if we have an administration change in another couple of years that cancels all the things that the guy that just started, like, we're just going to do this and we're never going to get anywhere. It's just the same. It's just the same. It's 4 years of yes, 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 and then 4 years of no, no, no. And then 4 years of yes, 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 and 4 years of no, no, no. So I don't know. Anyways, so what do you
optimistic.
think? It's just being reality.
No,
realistic.
but you're right. Well, our business is cyclical.
But no, I think that like, like you said, back to what you said about the marketing piece, right, man? Like, it's really cool and hip to be a celebrity or somebody of that has a huge social media following, to be like pro green energy, right? Because that's like what everybody wants to be. I read an article the other day saying that like 30% of the young people voted for Democrats because of green energy commitment alone in the last. And now 58% or 59% of those people are now dismayed because they thought like it was going to turn a switch. Like, oh, we're going to go green energy now. It doesn't work.
They might also thought they were getting their college tuition back too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, student loans. those will get reimbursed soon because I got mine all paid for. That's exactly what life does to America.
Oh,
I don't know, Robin, but I think it's cool, man. I think it's neat that you got some new stuff. I hadn't seen that new pipe or rock shield. What do you guys call
rock
it?
stop, we call it.
Rock stop.
Rock stop is that white stuff.
I like pipe type.
I like pipe. Yeah, I like pipe type better.
The old pipe.
Well, private label.
I mean, the marketing would be incredible.
Protecting your pants. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff with the pipe piper.
Oh yeah.
Well, Robin, I want to say thank you. What you've done for the industry in the rock shield industry, and I know firsthand how much you really have to do with the success that we have today with Tough Enough. I mean,
he's known as the what'd you call him before, Chad?
The Godfather of Rock Shield.
Godfather of Rock Shield.
I tell you what, UPSCO has been a leader in marketing and proactively getting out there and promoting products. So
I just don't want you to make a deal I can't refuse with you. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I got a shameless plug I want to throw out there too. I haven't done enough of that.
No, let it rip.
As far as like trying to find new ways of explaining our products, especially during COVID, I did a series of 1-minute pipeliner videos.
Oh, cool.
I think you go on YouTube and they last like, I say it's 1 minute, but it's like a minute and a half or something for each one.
Okay.
And I talk about a feature of saddlebags, or feature of pipe support or depth of cover specification or something like that.
Do you have like a page or a link to the page that we could include in the interview? If you do, can you send it?
I should get that before this, but I just went to YouTube and just typed in 1-minute pipeliner and they're kind of mixed in with some of the other videos that come up.
It's called 1-minute pipeliner. That's what the
right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And they're not very good, but I don't. The content.
You guys should check them out. They're terrible.
Check them out. They
suck. But
I found them.
As I've looked at them,
if Chad can find it, then we're totally capable of finding it.
I mean, here's the thing, man. If somebody watches it and finds any value in it, then it was absolutely worth it.
Yeah. The title of the very first one I did, I think, was called "Why the Hell Do They Still Use Sandbags to Support a Pipe?"
No,
a very long title.
No, I'm looking it up. Valid question as well.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, Robin. Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, what you've done for the industry is pretty amazing, and we appreciate you coming on and talking about the past.
It's a unique industry. I mean, I've always enjoyed it. Great people in it. It's a society of it in itself.
Absolutely.
Well, we're looking.
I admire the people in it.
We're looking forward to the new products coming out of PipeSak. I think your ownership probably has some more ideas rattling around in their head that we'll see probably real soon.
I've got a couple of products I would love to talk about right now, but they're not quite ready yet.
Call back in a couple of weeks. We're always
we'll bring you back on. We'll do Rocky's Corner.
We're very close.
And I enjoyed being Dana for this episode. So
please stop.
Pleasure, Robin.
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate
you, buddy. Absolutely.
Rocky, wow, great interview. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, my friend. See, now when I go back to it, it doesn't sound right.
It sounds amazing, buddy. Rocky, wow. Good interview, pal. No, I think it's cool. I was actually pretty cool about pipe dive. I think they should totally take that over.
Pipe
That should be the
dive.
name.
That's
The
that,
pipe
we
dive.
gotta trademark that before we let them get that.
Dan
Pipe
loved it.
dive.
Dan loved it.
Yeah, it's
Pipe
awesome.
dive.
It's like the third good idea I've had in about 12 years. So I mean, somebody can actually, maybe second one. No, I think it's cool.
Oh,
I
it's
mean, you know,
good.
it's pretty,
Yeah,
it's
possibly
pretty
first.
cool to like think about that. Like, he was like the guy that started, like, really made Tough Enough like mainstream, like, right, you know, like that was
Yeah.
like his whole thing. I mean, like, can you imagine like ending your career kind of like being Dino, I
Yes.
can't think of his last name,
Cicerelli?
with the EFV. No.
Yes.
Oh.
I kept wanting to say Dean Blandino, the NFL referee.
Oh my God! Now
McGowan.
this is driving me crazy.
McGowan.
Like, I almost said
McGowan.
something. McGowan, thank you. I was saying
I
McGovern.
said
knew that wasn't
Cicerelli
right.
because it was funny.
Yeah. Anyways, it was like Dean with the EFV, like being in like so integral in the beginning and start and like actual implementation of a product, that knowing that like your direct impact like resulted in something being used and utilized in an industry, I think is pretty amazing. So good on him for that and seeing that opportunity.
Pretty cool.
Well, I thought it was funny because I remember when I started with Upsco a couple years ago, I somehow saw like these original videos that he talks about where he's like on a ladder dropping a rock.
Yeah.
And somebody gave
Oh, yeah.
them to me for like training aids on Rock Shield. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's
This-
the Upsco training
I
methodology.
go, this is the best we got here. And he was like, this is the
Here's some 25-year-old videos.
Yeah.
They're on an A-track.
That's why Teddy's sales are still plummeting.
Oh, that's great. So,
Just kidding.
all right.
No, it was good. It was a good interview. It was good to get to know him. I mean, he's like the one guy that, like, you know, me being here a long time, like I never really like I never knew him at all until now, until he's with PipeSak. So pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So is it that time for us to go into the new segment, or are we
No,
going
it's time to go into our normal news segment.
the normal news segment?
You are the hostess with the leastest.
Okay with that.
The leastest. It used to be hostess with the mostest. I'm gonna make you a t-shirt that says the hostess with the leastest. And then just like a picture of you like this, like on the bottom. Like, yeah, right there, that one. Screenshot that one. I'll put it on a t-shirt.
Chad, screenshot it.
Can you see my?
Oh, wow, that
was rude.
totally freaked me out because I'm on my iPad. That was like totally different than the
You
normal
thought
experience. I thought
Chad
my
was taking a
computer was.
screenshot of me going like this?
I didn't know what was going on.
So this week our I wouldn't say this is an article, but I think this is a factual side more on the news stuff and just really informative. This thing comes from the gasindex.org, which I think everybody should kind of check out. It's
yeah,
pretty
it's actually
interesting.
cool. I got it
Yeah.
from, you know who I got that from?
Tammy.
Yeah, Tammy Bomia
Told
from Clock Spring NRI. Yeah, she sent that to me.
That should have been the gas
it's
bag this week, Chad. You would have got one right for once.
He still wouldn't have gotten it right.
No, probably not.
So anyways, this just covers like, you know, leaks where they are in distribution and transmission systems. But one thing that I thought was pretty crazy, and Chad and I were talking about this the other day, Teddy, you weren't on the call, but when you get to like distribution, right? Like there's some new technologies out there as far as, you know, laser and drone and all kinds of stuff that they're using to identify where leaks are, right? Well, some of the things that are really interesting is that because there's so much better technology, they're actually finding like a massive amount
It's
more.
five times. I'll just read this little. I'll read.
Yeah,
this
so
little
read that from
The
distribution.
gas distribution pipeline system is made up of distribution mains, which typically run under city streets, and service lines, which branch off of distribution mains and run up to each building that receives gas. A new study using extensive measures of methane leakage in cities shows that distribution mains leak. Wow, I did bad. Shows that distribution mains leak substantial amounts of methane, about 5 times more than previously recognized. Distribution pipelines can leak due to damage from natural processes such as earthquakes. They're also often damaged by people digging, such as construction projects, and actually accidentally hitting a pipeline.
And they're actually, one of the things that I thought was kind of funny about that is one of the things that they don't cover is old infrastructure. When you have like old cast lines or you have corrosion and things like that, I would assume that that's probably a larger reason for a leak than it would be an earthquake or maybe, you know, somebody digging, you know. But I think that, go back up, Chad.
Sorry,
Where it says
carried
customer
away.
meters. This one right here, customer meters. For
This one's
consumers,
pretty
gas
good.
meters are one of the more visible parts of the gas system, since they are one of the very few parts of the system that is above ground. Every building with gas service has at least one gas meter, and large buildings with many customers can have many gas meters. This is the interesting part. Customer gas meters can leak a substantial amount of methane. A recent major study found commercial sector gas meters were leaking about 6 times more than EPA had estimated, and also found that large differences in the leakage rate between regions of the country. Anyone want to guess why the differences in the leaking maybe in different parts of the country?
The temperature.
Other conditions, elements.
Yeah, but why?
Well,
Because you don't use as much gas in somewhere that it's warm all year, and that your
Maybe.
pressure's not as high. That they don't have to change their pressures. Why do you think?
I think it's because go ahead, Ted.
the change of seasons is one, and the harsh elements that they're exposed to in certain parts of the country versus some they're not. That is awesome. That came up, but
I didn't even get to read it. I'm glad I didn't.
but yeah. So
The perils of sharing your screen.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to be me.
With
No,
ground
I
freezes and this, that, and the other.
You can get off of this, guys. This is on gasindex.org. It's under where leaks occur. Just a really cool article,
I'm just
or whatever you
breaking
want to call it. Can you get out of here?
I'm trying.
Go to the top. There you go.
Okay, I'm just so my theory was that, and I may be wrong, but my theory is
Definitely wrong.
Hang on. The best part is I'm definitely gonna have to. I just read the actual message.
Yeah, you've got to make that disappear.
I didn't see what it said, but I just saw
I
the
did.
first line, and I was like, oh boy.
That's all. I didn't even see that.
You're gonna have to edit some editing. If for those of you that this part got edited out, like you'll not understand, but like there was a naughty message that came on the bottom of the chat. Teams. Anyways, so no, back to the gas meters. I think for twofold. Like number one, where it's cold and then warm, and then cold and warm, right? You're gonna get expansion, contraction. I think that potentially that might cause,
Shifts.
like, yeah, but I mean, soil heave, things like that. But in big parts of in a lot of parts of the country, they don't bracket or put any type of stabilizing on their meters. So if you guys ever specifically like go in the climates where it's not cold, like in the Northeast, everything's almost always bracketed because of the soil heave, that thing will pitch or turn or spin. But if you go down in like warmer climates, a lot of times there's no bracketing. It's just in the ground and it's stabilized by the inlet piping and then the outlet piping, right? So over time, what happens is if there's any shift or any heave or anything like that, that thing gets just torqued up. And when you start torquing and bending and moving things, I think that that's probably part of the reason that you see a little bit more gas leaks in certain regions versus other regions. That's my guess. If anybody knows the answer to that, please comment. Doug Stafford, if you know the answer, or Leroy. That'd be great if you guys could just chime in.
I'll tell you, I was at NGA last week and I sat through a lot of classes on methane detection and how they can map and track and everything. And I sat through one section from Consumers Energy where they essentially bought these vehicles that they drive and utilize for mapping that detects it.
There's Picaro and ABB Mobile Guard that does it.
Exactly. Yeah. It was an awesome presentation.
I'm sure there's more, but
yeah, but consumers got on and discussed at length what it did for their system and how it prioritized their work for their employees and this, that, and the other to make things, better. And then I sat through another one where Con Edison, I want to say it is, has for over a year, since 2018 now, they went on a methane.
A little bit over a year.
No, it's 2018. So 4 years ago. That's crazy. But they started in 2018, but they really got heavy into it this past year. COVID put a hiccup in their process of like this whole expansion project. They now install a methane detector with every single service that they install, and they've also worked with the standards committees and UL and everything now. And
wait a minute. For what?
If there's a leak in the house.
Who's it tell?
So listen, let me finish the story before you ask your questions.
It's just taking forever to get there.
Oh, Daddy, come on.
I feel like I'm actually looking at
Just
it.
keep driving on.
And it's hardwired to like a 911 basically line for Con Edison. So they've worked with the standards committees and they've taken the reading of the standard used to be 25%. and they've lowered it to 10%. And it'll send a trigger or an alarm out at any time it registers at 10%, right? And they've tracked every bit of this data, and they can tell you what time it started at, what it dropped back down to, all this stuff. And it sends it right to Con Ed, and it also auto dials the fire department as well. Everything, you've got a response time of like 17 minutes. They've tracked how they've got every single leak and what type of every single one was.
I have a stupid question. Maybe it's not stupid. Is it emergent for emergency purposes only? Is it for their whole leak system?
Their every service.
That's something, Joe, that could be interesting in the stuff you're doing.
Listen, they've done a huge study on it already where I've got the numbers in my backpack here, but don't have it prepared to discuss it.
I feel like that's, I don't know, whatever. Good for them.
Everybody is going to do something different. That's part of the.
But the goal is to get rid of leaks and not to just be like, oh.
Well, no,
yeah, but I mean, part of the problem is you can't find all of them, especially somebody like Con Ed. I mean, that's.
What is it? Where is it? Wait a minute. Stop. Where is this methane detector located? In the home?
So in the
like
home,
a carbon monoxide detector or a fire
exactly,
detector?
but it's attached to the outlet pipe coming out of the meter set.
I don't understand the purpose of that.
Because
why just there? So it's outside of the residence.
No, it's in the residence because the majority of their meter sets are installed inside with Con Ed.
Okay, fine. So they're putting something inside.
Exactly.
That actually makes sense then.
So they've had 91,000
They could just move them outside
as of 2022. It's battery operated device mounted to the
Wait, how
pipe.
many?
91,000.
Oh.
All right. And they've over all of that, they've had like 1,000. Out of the 91,000, they've had 1,000 alarms. All right. And then they have the data for every one of the 1,000 alarms. It was pretty amazing. Like, again, I'm doing a poor job of presenting it.
What's pretty amazing though is that they had 1,000 alarms on those 91,000s after they just installed those things, and they should be good. That's pretty amazing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, you don't know if they installed them on new services or pre-existing.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I mean,
all new services only.
But there's like how many? This is the problem with that, and I don't mean, I'm sorry.
We should revisit this next week. Let's revisit.
Yeah, we
should
talk about this. But wait a minute.
I think it's neat though and interesting.
Yeah, but how many how many customers do they have? 1.4 million.
They just
get there eventually.
No, they didn't. They started in 2008.
And then, they very slow implementation to have it, and they're going through it. It's like.
I'm not saying it's a bad.
Move on. I'm moving on.
I think it's cool. I'd like to know more about it.
It was great. I'm telling you. I got the information for the PowerPoint presentations and everything.
What just happened? I broke my stuff.
Chad. Bye, Chad.
So in response to that, just so for everybody, June 12th to the 15th is SGA Connect. It's in St. Louis, Missouri. I sit on the new technology committee, and we're actually having a couple people come in and talk about some of the new methane capture, identification, leak remediation stuff. So if anybody's watching this and they want to go to that, there'll be a little bit of a chat about methane stuff.
Chatting.
And now,
here it comes.
What are we doing now? I gotta go. I was here for this story, so I don't have to.
Storytelling.
Talk to you guys later.
So this is I guess it's my turn to share.
Ted's week.
It's my week, and I'm going to share one of the stories of my first road trip with UPSCO with Mr. Surratt. We had been traveling for a couple of days, and we had done the York to Messina, New York, the York, PA to Messina, New York to Buffalo, New York, couple shuffle, and we're in Buffalo, New York, and we end up at a hotel in Buffalo that has a restaurant attached to it that Joe, recommended highly. And we get there.
Couple of things. Wait a minute.
I'm telling the story, then you can amend.
I did not recommend it highly. I said that I knew that there was a restaurant there. That is not recommending it highly. I wasn't like, we're staying at the Ritz, man. I was like, there's a bar and a restaurant there. That's all I knew. So don't throw me under the bus like that.
It's close to the airport.
I'd stay there one other time. Yeah.
So we get in there and it is packed. It is a madhouse. All right. I mean, there is not room anywhere. We find 2 spots at the bar. Every seat is filled. And there is one bartender who, we were starving. We've been on the road for hours. We order drinks, and then we're like waiting for her for like 15 minutes to come back to get us our food menu. But meanwhile, Joe and I were talking like we had just met a week and a half earlier. You know what I mean? We're going, and she finally like makes like a beeline to us. And I wasn't ready. I panicked. I completely panicked. And I looked down and Joe's like, I want chicken fingers and barbecue sauce.
Always the safe bet, man. You can't screw that up.
So I'm like,
And if you do, you can tell real quick.
yeah.
How do you think it was a chicken tender? I mean, it's frozen. It's a frozen piece of chicken they throw in the game.
So I looked down, I'm like, oh no, I was not ready for this because we were talking. And I'm like, and I saw this thing and it was like Thanksgiving sandwich. All right. And it was literally, it was supposed to be a Thanksgiving panini. Okay. And it was supposed to come with mashed potatoes and turkey and gravy on it. And well, that was it. And it was coming in a panini. So I order it. And when it comes out, it is like deli turkey with 2 pieces of white bread and like it had a tomato sticking out the side of it. And I'm like, this is, and then there was like gravy
And mayonnaise.
and mayonnaise or something. It was insane. And I'm like, but if I would have ate it immediately if the tomato had not been on there. However, I had to open the sandwich to peel the tomato off because I hate them. And when I peel the tomato off,
All 3 of us hate them.
there is just this spot on the turkey.
Wait a minute, really quickly. It looked like a piece of cedar. You ever look at a piece of cedar? It has just that random hole spot in it. That's what it looked like. But wait a minute, really quickly, Teddy. I'll let you finish the story, but I just want to point out something. Part of this story is your fault, okay? For the pure fact that you decided to order a
He
Thanksgiving
did say that.
turkey
I said
sandwich.
he froze.
Yeah, but I know you panicked, but you could have been like chicken tender. You could have been like chicken wings. You could have been burger. Like that's a froze. You went with the turkey Thanksgiving panini. That's like,
Yeah, I panicked. Okay.
you did.
Yeah.
So we see this cedar knot on the turkey, and I'm like, what is that?
He
And Joe's
poked his
like,
finger.
no, Joe is over here eating his tenders.
Mine are delicious.
He goes, that looks good. We're like, first of all, we'd already discussed at length, like, that's not panini. That is white bread, Wonder Bread. Why is there lettuce on the Thanksgiving turkey meal? Right. And then I touch the piece of turkey. And when I touch it, like a piece of like a pus thing pops out and goes back in.
It was like a worm. It was like a worm or something.
And Joe immediately goes, you're going to enjoy eating that. I have none left over here for you.
No, I would have ate it. I would have just cut it out. Like, I was
He
hungry.
turns it over.
It's just
Now
cut
the
it
story
out.
only gets better because I'm like grossed out now, but I'm still hungry, but I don't want to order anything because I'm afraid that like I'm down. You never send food
Yeah,
back.
no.
I never send food back.
Why would you ever order something again from there?
So she comes
Would you ever
over.
a Thanksgiving panini from a Holiday Inn restaurant?
So she comes over though, and she goes, what? And I'm like,
Yeah, she had an attitude.
and I go, and I push on the turkey, and the thing goes up like this. And she looks at me and goes, and she takes my plate of food, throws the glass plate, everything in the garbage can, and storms off. Nothing else was said about the matter the rest of the night.
I'm like this.
And we got the bill, and she was like, and she didn't take it off the bill. And I was like, ma'am, I'm not paying for this. And she was like, livid about, oh my gosh, it was so terrible.
Did you ever? I don't recall. Did you ever end up eating anything there? Did we?
No.
We went somewhere else. Yeah.
No, I went and got food. We went somewhere else. And then no, what was funny was the next morning we went in there for breakfast. And I was like, how's your breakfast, Joe? And he was like, this is delicious. I'm like, I'm not eating here. He was
Yeah,
like,
you wouldn't eat that.
he was like, I don't
I
care.
thought it was great.
I am. Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
get
my
a
story.
Thanksgiving panini in February.
Yeah.
That
was my story.
I mean, it wasn't even close
Actually,
to
no,
Thanksgiving.
Joe, I want to say that. You know why? I think I might have been even looking at that because it was in November. I started with Upsco in September.
It wasn't in November, was it?
It was around there. It was closer to
I
November.
don't know if
Remember,
those Thanksgiving sandwiches on like random, like July 11th.
You have to understand that, like I want to set the stage because Teddy didn't set it all that well. No offense, Teddy. Like this place wasn't like fine dining. This was
Or
like
even like a Sheets.
no. This
I would
was
rather
like
eat
a
cheese.
this was like a bar that was bolted onto a Holiday Inn in 1974, and it hadn't changed since.
At all.
So
They had the
Right. I
buffet
mean,
in the back that they never used anymore, still sitting.
yeah,
in the
it
corner.
was like it was brutal, and
Yeah.
he gets a Thanksgiving panini sandwich.
I
Like
panicked.
I'm surprised you didn't get the Clams Casino. Like what? What are you?
It was
what are you
on the
thinking?
menu. Like when I
The
looked
Clams
down,
Casino
she's
are
like,
actually
what do
pretty
you
good.
want? And I was afraid.
Yeah,
that she
at
was
that
gonna
Holiday
leave.
Inn.
And I was like, I'll take the Thanksgiving panini.
Thanksgiving panini. I'm gonna go back there and order it. Let's see if it's
That's
any
the
good now.
name of this episode.
They definitely don't
Put
have
on
it
YouTube.
anymore.
Thanksgiving
that's-
panini.
Thanksgiving panini is the name of this episode when we put it on YouTube.
Oh,
Yes. So,
Who
right.
puts it on YouTube? I don't do it.
well, whoever puts it on.
Does it go on YouTube anymore? Do we still do that?
Yeah,
yeah.
it still goes on every
Oh.
episode.
Duh.
So.
I don't watch these, so I don't know.
All right, it's
Nobody
time for us
does.
to wrap this up. We have stuff to do.
What else we gotta
Alright.
talk
Check
about?
out of his
What are you
hotel
guys doing this week,
2 hours
Teddy?
ago.
What are you, Ted? I know you're not doing anything. You're in Upsco. Chad, you're going somewhere, right? What are you doing? Let's
Mr.
talk about
Kepler.
our vendors.
So I'll go on with Dave from MBW.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's all I had.
You guys gonna go sell some DUs and soul?
Probably not. No,
You know, keep up
we
the good work.
actually have a couple of good meetings, but
Chad,
they're all
look at
over the
that.
place.
I'm
Lots of
wearing a
driving.
shirt.
Oh, look at that.
Right
Chad's not.
there.
He's wearing an
And I think
EWN
we'll
shirt.
probably get up to Cleveland at some point and get to see Logan too, which would be nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
It's always nice when you can.
Logan didn't make an appearance, I don't think.
I don't know what he did all weekend.
He was like, I'm not going.
I don't know
out.
what I did all weekend.
Let's see. He
You could
slept
have probably
most of
used
it.
him. You might have won the championship. He's like 6'12".
That would be 7 foot. Good job.
I
Can
know.
we
I just
go
wanted to see if
now?
you're good at math. I'm
All right,
not
we
even
love
in
you
charge
guys.
of this.
Thank
I
you
don't.
so much. Remember to click like, subscribe, share, all the above. We'll talk to you next week.